Not to sound elitist or anything, but I think the standards of universities have been like dumbed down.
So it doesn't matter whatever you think, a certain level of education is required with anything.
Welcome to Bridge the Gap, a show where we aim to build a bridge of understanding between opposing views. Each episode you'll see our participants sit down to discuss some thought-provoking statements. If they disagree with the statement, they'll leave their seat and allow those that agree to explain themselves.
The more educated you are, the more doors open for you.
Those that disagree then return and express themselves to the rest of the group.
Education, I feel like awareness or consciousness leads you to success.
Hopefully building a bridge of understanding. Let's see what happens.
I think you can't really gauge like how much someone knows based off of like
A piece of paper.
you know what I'm saying, based off of a degree, and it's just like obviously it's the growth even as a person within those 3 years in uni and what you knew then and what you know now. As much as cool, the knowledge grows and stuff, but it's like you've studied, because a lot of the time, a lot of men that have these degrees don't actually use it after like
100%,
uni and stuff.
yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of my friends have these degrees, and if you were to ask them to take these exams, these same exams that they took when they were getting these degrees today, they probably probably wouldn't.
Wouldn't be.
You can't really gauge it based off of those
things.
those tests.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not to sound elitist or anything, but I think the standards of universities have been like dumbed down
A lot.
to a lot, right?
Yeah.
To the extent where there's even now something called a first class inflation, where sort of lower end unis are sort of inflating their grades, basically giving everyone a first class, right? To basically boost their chance of getting a job in a job lander in the corporate world. Obviously, you know, companies aren't stupid, they're all over this, innit? So it makes sort of where you get your degree even more valuable.
Oh, it's so crazy, because back when I like was in uni, there was like, even though it might be like friendly like banter or whatever, there's definitely was a like hierarchy. Like if you went to, I went Leicester, so if you went to like DMU or something, or if you went Warwick, there's like a, do you know what I'm saying, or like Loughborough, like it's just bare like.
No, but that's how it is though, because those
In
institutions
every city.
are seen as more prestigious, i.e. because the examinations are stricter, the kind of research projects they get are more sort of, you know, better quality. And the people that have gone there,
They've gotten better grades.
Not even better grades. The things that the people have gone on to do are great things. That's what builds up a university name. You list all of the prime ministers. The majority of them have been from two schools, Oxford or Cambridge. I'm trying to say the majority of the most successful people in this country have been from just those two schools. That's why they're so prestigious.
Do you feel like that's based off of the uni, or just the fact of the way like the system has been?
I think so.
Like,
I think
You know, is the chicken and egg situation, which came first? Did the University of Oxford, that was so great, come first? Because remember, Oxford is the oldest university in the world. Well, one of the oldest in the world. There's a university in Africa that existed before that. So obviously, you've got to ask yourself that all of these great people went to that university. If it didn't exist, it could have been called something else, University of Durham. But because it has that legacy, no one can take that away from it.
No, but
I'm trying to say.
It's a thing where like, you've got to look at it like, cool, people didn't explore any other options. So for example, like let's say I wanted to study engineering, for example, right? And engineering in DMU actually is probably one of the best, whatever, just hypothetically, right? But because Loughborough is top 10 ranked overall universities, I might look at it and think, oh yeah, I want to go to Loughborough just because.
But then the question I have to ask you is what would make the DMU course better? Is it the teaching?
No, but that's the thing, we don't know that.
No, of course.
There are certain things within each university that even within the top 10, I promise you, there's probably certain things in DMU that will probably teach better than.
No. But what you need to understand, you know, 100%. You don't go to university for the teaching quality. That's not why people go to university. You go for the certificate at the end. I'm trying to say, you go for the reputation of the university. I'm saying you having Oxford on your CV will get you into the door. It may not get you the job, but will definitely get you an interview. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because
that's the whole point. This is what I'm saying. That's literally the problem.
No, but I'm not saying I don't see it as a problem, because obviously it required a certain depth of knowledge to get to Oxford. Not anyone gets into Oxford.
You know what's so crazy?
Not anyone gets into Oxford.
A lot of these prime ministers and whatever, bro, they buy their way into those universities.
Not necessarily.
A lot of them
Not
do.
necessarily.
A lot
Not
of them
necessarily.
do.
Wait, no.
A lot of them
Obviously, I agree with you in a context where, let's say, for example, David Cameron's kid.
Right.
If he got decent, let's not say.
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait, can I land?
Go on.
If he got grades, let's say 3 A's, for example, in today's standards, that's not enough to get into Oxford to study a particular course, right? However, because he's the ex-Prime Minister's son, they'll take him, and because of the cultural capital he has, they'll also take him.
Right.
However, he is still an intelligent person. He's got 3 A's. I'm trying to say, it's not as almost, some universities are literally taking people with 5 U's. What is that?
In this thing, power is like
Everything.
100, cultural
Everything.
capital. Cultural capital is everything.
Yeah, because I feel like David Cameron's kid, for example, right, he could get 3 U's, bro, and I don't put it past them to put him in.
They wouldn't put him into Oxford. They wouldn't put him, because it would be a scandal. Obviously, look, these
Who would know?
Trust me, no one would know.
People would know.
So do you feel like everyone that actually has been to Oxford was actually deserving of?
No, the lowest person to get into Oxford with the grades he got was Prince Charles, and he got like C's at A level. But what I'm trying to say is they made an exception for him because obviously he's the future king.
Exactly.
And in fact, he went to Cambridge, not Oxford. But what I'm trying to say to you is that these institutions that are very prestigious, if you're just an average Joe, because remember, not everyone's an elitist. If you're just an average Joe and you're applying, even forget about Oxford and Cambridge. Warwick, for example, they have very high entry requirements. They're not busting everyone. They're looking at your personal statement. They're looking at sort of the environment you grew up in. Then they're making a judgment decision. So at the end of the day, the universities want the best candidates to come through their unis. So in the future, in 50 years' time, they can market it. So for example, my uni, the University of Surrey, they're going to start using my name. They're going to be like, look, Toby Dada came to this uni. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? In 10, 50, 30 years' time, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, the whole premise of university is a marketing strategy. Right. Like, I'm not even trying to violate the guys that go to DMU and other less sort of prestigious unis, but what person can they say went there and is doing big things?
Bro,
There are people.
I'm not saying there's no DMU.
He's saying it all for me now.
I'm not saying there's no DMU alumni, but when you compare the sort of earnings of people who go to these prestigious unis versus people who don't go to prestigious uni, the gap is mad. In DMU, who am I meeting? I'm meeting another brother from Ends. Like,
Oh no, I agree what he's saying. I don't need to add more to.
I want to know why you disagree initially.
See, I see it in like different point of views in the sense of a degree itself isn't a true reflection of knowledge, but getting the degree adds to the knowledge. That makes sense in the sense of like, no, okay, all right, okay.
I think I understand what you mean.
Yeah, as in like
somehow validates information or
exactly.
edifies the information that you already have.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think, what was I saying? With like, it, in university, like I said, in college or something, when you were trying to like, go into university, it was kind of like an everyone thing. So whereas like you looked at the people that weren't going, even though there was such a small like number, you looked at them kind of weird. Do you know what I'm saying? It was almost like subconscious because it's just like, oh, because you start thinking, oh, why aren't you going to uni? Like, what's the reason behind it? Are you not smart enough? Are you not this and that and whatever? So I think that there was definitely like some sort of like.
What's interesting is the history of kind of higher educational institutions is interesting in this country because, you know, like 20, 30 years ago, people weren't going to universities, even though universities were free. I'm trying to say, like, in our parents' generation, going to uni was free. Now they're actually putting a price tag to it. More people are going to university, which is kind of ironic. However, I think for me, right, if I could go back, I would have still gone to uni because look, at the end of the day, we know there's a handful of people that run this country, and it's not a coincidence that a handful of these people went to a handful of universities. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not a coincidence that the majority of people that rule over us all went to Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, or these other institutions. And I think for me, right, if I want to be successful, then I need to be at the table as well. Like, I need to be in these institutions. I need to be receiving the same knowledge that those people are receiving, because it must be saying.
I'm thinking, I put myself back in my 18-year-old shoes. I'm thinking, right, the people around me, which is my teachers at sixth form, and I went to one of the best in the country, right? So my sixth form, there was no other path other than uni. Every single person, 180 people in my year, we will all apply to university because my sixth form would never let anything else go because they attained certain grades. We all got certain grades for a reason, and you had to go to uni. So at 18, I'm not thinking, you know what, forget my college, forget my sixth form, I'm making my own table, I'm not going to that university. I'm thinking, my school, who have got me my grades, helped me everything, are telling me I need to go to this institution because I can meet these kind of people and build my future.
Let's not pretend that. Let's not. Sorry,
in my sixth form, sorry, there was like maybe out of 100 students, let's say at A levels, maybe 5 students didn't go to university, and at the rest of us, including myself, were all there judging them. Oh my God, you're going to uni, and I'm going to go work. I'm thinking, why? You know, so that's already sort of installed into us that right, cool, they must be lesser than us because they're not going to go to university, they're going to go do whatever.
Can I ask you, do you feel like, why, or hasn't it crossed your mind to like, in wherever you do go, what do you think about like creating your own table?
These institutions, right, the University of Oxford has existed for 500 years. Why can't I bring my community or myself into that? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Why must I make a brand new table when there's a table that I can take? Because, I'm trying to say, because the table's there, bro. No, the table's there and there's room for me.
The reason you can't is because they won't let you.
You won't let me.
Right. That's exactly
If
bro,
you
listen,
think,
listen.
Remember, you're not the first person to want to try and get.
People have done it. No, people have done it, bro. People have done it. They just hush about it.
Never
bro, listen.
But then that's the whole point, no?
What's the percentage of black people that go to Oxford University?
The percentage, I think, is
What's
about
the percentage
4%.
of black people in government right now? Let's start.
Okay, so are you talking about black MPs or people actually working for the government?
Actually, no.
Let's not even talk about. Let's go back to the university. So in Oxford, the place that you're saying that you want to go to and bring everyone with you, right?
Yeah.
How many black people already exist in that environment?
So currently, right, this intake, or the last year's intake was 4%. 4%
of the whole
like, yeah, 4% were actually black.
That's post.
Bain was higher. 4% were black. I'm not disputing the point that these men don't obviously want us to be at the table. I'm not disputing that. Of course they don't. There's going to be backlash, and I'm not trying to say it's easy. But what I'm trying to say is I'll barge my way to the table. Look, at the end of the day, right, I'm a believer, that the only person holding you back is you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be tough, but it has been done. It has been done.
Okay, so you don't think that... What, you don't carry on the conversation, or you wait for them to come?
Continue.
So you don't think that is oppression?
What,
you're
oppression?
There
is oppression.
Why do you want to be at their table?
Why do I want to be at their table? Bro, listen.
If you know already they don't want you there.
No, bro. The table's not theirs. It doesn't belong to them.
They created the system.
Wealth, listen, hold on. Wealth, listen. When I say that, okay, cool. Let's define what we mean by the table.
Okay, go on.
When we say the
I'm
table,
talking about the system and the structure.
No. When I say the table, I'm talking about the wealth of this nation. This wealth of this nation.
What makes you think they want to divide the wealth between black people?
Fam, I'm trying to explain that to you.
Been trying.
The wealth of this nation does not belong to anyone that has it right now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It belongs to all of us, and it's there for the taking. It's right for the taking. They came to Africa, they raped our country of all its resources, and now they live in life. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, you might think to yourself, right, these people are pressing me. They don't want me to eat at their table. Look, make space for yourself.
Make your own table.
Bro, listen, if they've taken all of the wealth of the world and put it on a particular table, there's no way you can create your own table.
Therefore,
so the best thing to do,
the wealth is on that table.
So we've heard about Toby. I want to hear you guys' complaints, and then you can respond after we've heard them.
All right, cool.
The reason why I left was because I didn't feel like I'd be judged by anybody. Like I was quite academic through my time in school. I was always going to go to uni, so I felt like the people that knew me, that knew that I was academic, me telling them I wasn't going to go to uni it wasn't going to be like, oh my God, why? They'd know that I'm quite focused, so I'd always have a plan. It's not like I was not going to uni to be a bum. I was going to uni to do something else, to go into work, but I'd still be studying alongside. So for me, the only people's opinions that I cared about were my parents. And it's mad because those are the people that shouldn't judge you, but they're the only people that I cared about. Literally, when I got my mum's approval, I didn't even wait for my dad. When I got my mum's approval, I just said, that's it, I'm going to work. And then when my dad found out, because he found out later, because I didn't tell him until I'd started working, he wasn't happy about it. I mean, he didn't speak to me for a couple months, but he got over it in time. And literally, once that happened, once I'd got him on board, didn't care what anyone said. To be honest, there's nothing anyone can say to me because I did what I did, and do you know what I mean? It is what it is, but literally it was only my parents' opinion that mattered to me at the time.
Makes sense.
I think for myself it was the same. When I moved to London when I was 17, and I did my first year of college again, because I dropped out of college, of the whole situation in itself. And I was homeless. So I did my first year, I came out with like 100% A's for everything, and I was like, I'm tired. So I did second year and I passed, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I just need to sort my life out and go and do something that makes me happy. And I left high school with 17 GCSEs, 9 A stars. Like, I don't need to do this no more. I've showed my academic side. I've given my time for that. I don't care anymore. And all I wanted to do was to do dance or drama or singing or something that made me happy. And my mum was like, nah, you need to go and do law. So I went and did that, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. So I left, and I was like, well, at the end of the day, I have to live my life for myself. I don't want to look back on my life in 5-10 years' time, be £50,000 in debt, and be unhappy, because who's paying for that? Me. Are you going to pay for that? So I was like, I know that no matter what I'm going to do, anything I do, I'll put my all into it. So with that being said, a couple of years later, I'm doing all right. I'm not mad at the decision, you know what I'm saying? So.
No, I hear that. And I do think we do need to change the narrative around people that don't choose to go to university. But I'm trying to say, I'm not in a position to change anyone's mind.
Education is intrinsically linked to success.
Education is intrinsically linked to success.
I agree, not because it's true, but because it's the way it is. Like, it's just the way that it is. Like, the more educated you are, the more doors open for you, or whatever, do you get what I'm saying? And then the more successful you're perceived. Like, you don't need to know who I am. You don't need to know what I'm doing in life. If the first 5 minutes of our conversation, you find out that I have a PhD in engineering, for example, regardless of my status in life, your automatic thing is, yeah, this guy's doing well for himself. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if I have a this, do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just the way it is. I don't think that it actually equals, I don't think education actually equals success, but I think that the stigma that we have with it and the stigma that is attached to education, higher education, I do think that it does allow for like...
See, I believe, so before you jump in, I believe education does link to success, but not university, as in like there's many different ways of getting educated, whether it be online courses, whether it be that course, whether it be reading books. There's thousands,
on that level,
millions
I
of
think
books
on that level,
around
of course,
different topics. So education, yes, 100% links to success, but it comes down to one person to actually go out there and get educated, not just through university, but through all these other different avenues.
Yeah, see, that's what we've got.
What I wanted to just jump in. So one of my most favorite sort of people, he said that education is the passport to success, for the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. The reason why you educate yourself and the reason why you study things like history and you look at things that humans have been able to achieve is to prepare for tomorrow, to prepare for the future. I'm trying to say, there's nothing you learn today that can teach you about tomorrow, nothing. I'm trying to say, you can learn things today that will help you know more about what to expect tomorrow, but no one can predict the future. I'm trying to say, so my whole thing is that by going to these institutions, right, it's not just about sort of the knowledge, it's also about the networking and the other sort of experiences you get, life, soft skills and all of that. So, yeah, of course, education is critical to success.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
I think it really matters about how you define success.
That is true. That is very
and
true.
Education, I feel like awareness or consciousness leads you to success, because you can be aware of other people and their I know it sounds crazy, their feelings and their emotions, but I feel like that's what really helps. If me and you bubble together, we vibe, you're going to think about, oh yeah, that girl, I can holler her for X, Y, and Z, not because of what I know or whatever, because we built a relationship. Awareness. I don't think education, what's his name, the virgin dude? Did he go to uni?
No,
and he's a billionaire.
I would consider him still a quite educated man.
But you can acquire it. It's not.
Yeah, no, but I think, I mean, I agree with your point with saying that university maybe, like, I don't think that stipulates success, per se, but I think anything that you do, you have to be educated to a certain level to be able to do it. Even that, like, for example, you told me you're creative, you're a singer, right?
Yeah.
Yes, obviously people are born with talent. You're born with talent.
I wasn't trained.
Yes, but to a certain extent, you still have to pick up skills, which is you educate yourself on that topic. So it doesn't matter whatever you think. A certain level of education is required with anything.
That's the thing, yeah. So I think the question is then to like understand, because as humans we constantly learn, innit? So I think we're constantly educating ourselves. So are we talking about an institution, going to an institution?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's not necessarily.
Is it a thing where like? Because as a thing, if for example, if I want to start learning how to play the piano, I can go on YouTube and start learning, educating myself. I'm still educating myself.
But bro, one question to sort of gauge, right? I think there are common themes when you look at successful countries or richer countries, right? One of them is they have a very educated population. I'm trying to say, the very reason us man can even come into this room, sit down and have these conversations is because we're all very educated. We've received a certain level of education. There are certain countries and there are certain people living in those countries who haven't received that high level of education to even be having these discussions. I'm trying to, they're still thinking about how am I gonna go collect food for today. You know what I'm trying to say? So education, even though I guess we underappreciate the education we've received in this country because we've all been educated to an extremely high level. You were in school till you were 18. A lot of people aren't in school for that long, bro. A lot of people aren't.
That's facts. My mum, she dropped, so I'm from Trinidad, so my mum dropped out when she was like 12 or 13, and that's primarily because they couldn't fund shoes for school. Like, and she's the first person to get accepted into college in her family, but she couldn't go because she couldn't afford it.
I think when they looked at it, I think the Institute for Physical Studies, they did a study, right, to see the lifetime earnings of people that went to university, people that didn't go to university. So for men, yeah, you earn 430K more than men that didn't go to university. And for women, I think it was 230,000. So there's a significant
average
gap. Yeah, average lifetime earnings over
over
a lifetime.
Okay, keeping it good.
I'm not talking about a grad salary, innit? I'm talking about your average lifetime earnings. So obviously, for people that go to university, their lifetime earnings are significantly higher. That is changing and moving in the opposite direction. However, there's still a significant gap.
We start talking, okay.
I agree with that in the sense of one of the reasons why I went to university was purely to make my mum proud. All she's been about for years is make me proud, make me proud. And this was one of the ways to make her proud, especially as my older sister is a solicitor, has her own place. So I felt more pressured to go to university, even though I wasn't really into going to university.
My mum just expected it of me. She didn't care what I wanted to do. I just had to go. Doesn't matter. So she said I had to go and do a law degree. That's what I went and did. And then I dropped out. And that's really it. It played a huge part. And I feel as though a part of me, I'm an academic at heart, so I've always wanted to study. I just wanted to do it on my own terms, but it really wasn't a choice of whether I wanted to or what I felt it was to be. I just had to go and do it.
Do you regret dropping out?
No, not at all. Not at all.
See, I had the same sort of feeling, but I never did. I just had to soldier through.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
No?
I wasn't doing that. I'm not going to do anything that I'm going to dedicate my life to something that I don't feel passionate about. Okay, we love to see it. We love to see it.
Well, I mean, for me, my parents they always wanted me to be successful, but they said, it's up to you if you want to go to university, it's up to you if you want to do the apprenticeship route. They would just, as long as I was happy, that was their biggest concern. So I didn't really have any pressure.
Yeah, my mum wanted me to do an apprenticeship, believe it or not. She was like proper like trying to push me towards that, especially because when I was like younger, I wanted to become an engineer. Like, I was more so wanted to become like an electrician engineer. Study computer science in uni now, but I think what pushed me to go to uni is because I was quite aspirational. And even though my mum was telling me to do an apprenticeship, I was like, nah, I'm seeing all the people that are making it going to uni, you get what I'm trying to say? And also my A-level grades were really good. So me not going to uni was like, why have I worked so hard to get these grades?
My parents wanted me to go to uni, but I wanted to go to uni as well. So we both agreed on that. It wasn't a problem. But then I was the one that decided not to go to uni in the end. So I feel like I did get the pressure, but by that time it was too late because I'd already decided I wasn't going. But initially we were both on the same path. Like, uni was the goal for me personally and my parents. So.
Yeah, no, I think obviously in an African household, or growing up in an African household, I feel like it was kind of like, at first, like non-negotiable. You kind of like have the stigma of like, hey, like whatever happens, like that's where you're going, innit? But I think there wasn't so much pressure like that. It was just more so like, alright, cool, like it's just what makes sense next, innit? And I think, like you said, obviously, my parents wanted me to go to uni, but I also wanted to go just through like, you see your friends, everyone's applying, like, do you know what I mean? That whole like excitement, everything from what I remember, it's just like, you actually wanted to go, do you know what I'm saying? So.
This is fun.
I know exactly what I want to do with my life.
Oh my days.
See ya.
Why would you say that? Why would you ask me that? Boy.
I think now I know exactly what I want to do with my life, in the sense of I have educated myself enough to the point where I now know within myself that, right, this is the right career path for me. And one thing I've always tried to tell myself, if I was to stay in this thing for the next 20, 30, 40 years, would I be happy? Answer is yes. So in my mind, I've decided about, cool, me owning a business or doing X, Y, and Z, or I guess being a creative in my own little lane is my future plan. As long as it's keeping me happy, then that's what.
That's golden, bro. Yeah. That's golden, bro. Like, honestly, if you want to sort of think about success, look at where you are right now and look at the people around you, or the people that have been where you are. Look at what they're doing in 10, 20 years, right? And if you don't want to be like them, then get out there. Absolutely get out there.
I think in the sense of like success, knowing what it is that I wanted to do, I think there is an element of, like you said, people can't plan for tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, you
so
don't.
I think in the sense of like, we have an idea of where you want to get to. Do you know what I'm saying? I have an idea of like the things I want to achieve, the places I want to go, the people that I want to meet and rub shoulders with. But in terms of like a step-by-step, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, then do this. I feel like through like everything that's happened in the past to get me to wherever it is that I am right now, I don't even think that it was calculated. You know what I'm saying? So I think knowing what I want to do with my life, most definitely. But is that what is gonna happen? That's a whole different conversation. Like in terms of like, not even necessarily on like a good bad way. Like, oh, so if, for example, like someone might want to become a footballer, for example, but they don't know that the actual life plan is to become a manager or like a coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it doesn't necessarily mean not knowing doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be successful in whatever you're going to do.
So there's just to interject here. So there's 3 types of knowings in it. There's like knowing what you know, there's knowing what you don't know, and it's called unknown unknowns. So you don't even know what you don't know, right? And I think for a lot of people growing up in the UK, and especially in my part of London, right? There's so much I didn't know about the world when I was 16, 18, right? So I could not have planned my life 10, 20 years ahead. I had an idea of where I wanted to be, but I couldn't plan. I didn't know what success looked like. I didn't know how to be successful. And obviously, you know, this is a cliche, innit? I wish I knew now what I knew. I wish I knew back then what I know now, and all of that nonsense, innit? I think that holds so true, but I think I've acquired enough knowledge to get to where I want to be, but at the end of the day, like you said, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know.
I think for myself, when I made the decision to go into the arts or to the industry, I was like, I didn't know anything. I just knew how to sing, and that was it. I was like, I can sing, I can write.
Evidently.
And I just said, I was told, like, my aunt came to me, she's like, you got no money, you haven't got this, you haven't got that, you're not gonna be able to, like, everyone just said to me, no, it's the biggest, my uncle, he's Nigerian, he was like to me, are you making money? I said, no. He said, it's a hobby then. He said, it's a hobby then. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just said to myself, no matter what I do, I'm gonna be the best at it. And I swear to you, I put how my story kind of worked out. I put a song out on SoundCloud, and within 3 days, I had 5,000 views. And then I had people messaging me saying they wanted to work with me, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't know anything. And I always say to myself, had I had taken off immediately, I don't think I'd be where I am now. I think I'd know less. Now, that was in 2015. It's 2020. I've been able to. I manage myself. I've performed at Roundhouse, I've done big shows, and I've worked with big artists and all of these things, and I'm like, I took the time to learn everything that I know now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's cold.
I've had to, like, if I don't know, I'm gonna learn. I don't want to be the stupidest person in the room. I want to know everything that you know.
So you made a point about, like, when you were 16, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So I agree with that. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't know what I didn't know, yet I had every single aspect of my life planned out. I just thought, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do at this age, I'm gonna do this at this age, this is gonna happen then, but I didn't know anything then. And the older I get, the more I learn the things I didn't know. I know that I just can't plan every single day. Obviously, I have ideas and I know the kind of things I'm interested in and the kind of things I like, but I can't say what I'm doing now is what I want to be doing in 20 years because I'm growing, I'm learning every day, I'm developing, I'm changing. My interests can change in 5 years. My interests can change in 10 years. I know the kind of person I want to be, like that, the kind of woman I want to be, I know that for a fact, but what I'm going to be doing in 20 years, I couldn't tell you. And that doesn't worry me anymore. Before it used to. I just used to be so obsessed, like I'm a planner, I planned every single aspect of my life, but now I'm just like, it is what it is. I'm happy. I'm a Christian, so literally I just give everything to God. I'm walking in the faith. Literally, God can do whatever He wants with me. I don't mind. So I get peace in that. I don't plan as much. Still plan a little bit, but
I think for me, my plans have always just been changing. Like I mentioned earlier, I went to go and study French and business, and that wasn't necessarily where my passions, were. But my sixth form sent me there, cool, did that, decided for a period of time I thought I was gonna be a translator, then I realized I can't stand this language, I'm not doing that, so that was not gonna happen. Then, like, I just had all these ideas, and even like the path I'm on now is something that I was interested in. So obviously, for those of you who don't know, like I educate people on personal finance, and that's what I do, and I've gotten a lot of success in a short space of time doing that. Worked with huge companies, and I'm very grateful. And even though now I'm on this path, this is what I want to do. I aspire to keep doing this, but equally, I don't know if I can see myself doing this as my career. So I'm always changing, and I'm open to that, and I'm always learning. So I'll pick up new skills, and I say, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna start learning this, and I'll do that, and I have an interest in that, and then I'll be like, actually, no, I'm gonna do this. And I'm fine not having my clear path right now because I'm young. I don't expect to have my life planned out.
Can I ask you two a question?
Go for it.
Do you have an end goal in mind?
That's what I was going to say. You have an end goal in mind.
Someone once told me, right, that if you have an end goal, you should set it and then work backwards. You know what I'm trying to say? This is my end. How do I get there? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I have my end goal for now, so I know what I want, who I want to be and where I want to be. But it's just the path that will get me there is what I'm trying to work out. So that's why I'm like, I'm very open to that path changing, and I don't mind change. But I just know where I want to be. I just don't know I'm gonna stay in this path for another 5 years, for 1 year, for 10 years. I don't know.
I hear that. No, that makes sense. We never concluded our convo, innit?
Table.